Hey, Homestead Prepper. I want to show you guys my latest acquisition. This is a non-running gas-powered air compressor, and it's had some modification that needs to be addressed right there. This needs to be connected to that. The first thing I always do when I run across something like this is, there was no gas in it, but I put fresh gas in it and it still didn't want to start. This bowl right here is leaking. I always take some of this, you spray that in there, and it started to run until the starting fluid ran out. So that tells me that it's got good ignition, good fire. It's probably just a carburetor issue, so we're going to take that carb off right there and clean it, and we're going to get this thing going. Okay, I'm going to pull this bolt off right here, and you can see how nasty that is. I suspect some gas stayed in here for a long time. Let's pull this off. See the crud in there? See that? So let's take this apart and see if we can clean it up. Oh, that's been sitting a long time. Okay, typically what I do is just kind of put a little of this on here, and I've got a stainless steel brush, and just try and clean that up the best I can. Get the high spots, crud that gets all up in there. This doesn't make it run or not, but it looks nasty, so we're going to clean it up. Just kind of like get up in there. I guess we're not going to do a professional job like on NASCAR, but some of it won't come off. You'll have to, blast it off with like soda or something like that. But we're, like I said, we're not going that extreme. This is just to get it running, and it's not a show compressor. So, okay, now comes the part. I need some specialized tools to clean that carburetor out. I know probably a professional would soak the thing overnight and some of that carb clean. I've tried that and it didn't get my carburetor clean, blew it out with the air compressor. The specialized tool that I'm going to use are these, yes, those are bread ties. And I'll bet you didn't know that they're color coded, and the white one here says it was, the bread was made on Friday, and the blue one was made on Monday. So I'm just going to use one, strip it out. I'm going to use that wire, and because it's a steel wire and it's pretty stiff, I'm going to poke it in those orifices and get them cleaned out. Okay, what I usually do is just take some pliers and you just kind of gently just pull that off right there. You don't need to strip the whole thing. That ought to be enough right there. And then what I do are these little holes, like especially right there, you can soak those in carb cleaner. You can blow them out with the air compressor and they won't get clean. So the way I've had luck is to manually put something in there, loosen it up, put it with carburetor cleaner, and then blow it out with the air compressor, and it seems to work pretty good. So there's a little thing right there that's pretty nasty. Smaller the holes, the more likely they are to get gummed up with that type of stuff right there for sitting too long. So we'll continue to peck at it. Guess I'm gonna need something a little stiffer to get that out right there. That's just nasty, and that is definitely plugged up because it goes all the way through. I'm gonna need to get some other wire too, but anyway, the twisty tie can work miracles, especially on these little carburetors. Okay guys, I had to think a little bit outside of the box here. The little twisty tie wasn't strong enough. I've never seen one this gummed up before, but that is completely plugged, and so is this little metering thing here. It's plugged up. So what I did is, this is 0.035 flux core wire, so this was stiff enough and this was able to get down in there and get that stuff out of there so we get this thing working. So think outside the box. Okay, we just put this little float. There's a little needle valve that goes in there. It's very simple. You just push this back through here like this. Sticking out the other side. That, when it fills up with fuel, it goes like that. It shuts it off. When it gets low, more fuel goes in there so it doesn't flood it. So it's very simple. Of course, that's the choke. We can put this back on. We still have some corrosion right there. It's just a piece of metal. Alright, put this back on here. Turn this so we can get to it. Tighten it up. I don't know what a carburetor like this would cost, but the last one I bought before I learned the little trick there, it was $125. So I don't know if this would cost that, but okay, all we need to do is put it back on and see if she'll run. Okay, I really haven't figured out what this is all about right here, but let's take this off and rehook it. Already partially taken it off. And then that. It's capped off, but there's no way for air to get in there. Let's unspin this. And I'm just going to put that back on there. We'll see if it'll work. I guess I need some new Teflon tape. Alright, we'll put a little Teflon on here. See if we can, this thing will screw on here or not. Have to move that a little bit out of the way. It's not going to work, because these have to come off. It's always something. Well, that comes off pretty easy. You can put those back on. Alright, now I bet she'll go on. I still don't have an explanation for, what was going on with this, so I don't know. Alright, well that feels... Let's see if we can go one more. And if we can bend this, try and get that attached back on there. Well, I think we're going to get lucky. Give that a couple turns. We can put these back on. Oh, I need to put Teflon tape on them. Clean that old crap off. It doesn't want to cooperate. Let's see if she'll crank. Turn the choke on. Turn the gas on. Alright, let's give it a pull. Oh, I got leaking gas, but we're going to see if it'll start. Alright, well, it's working, making air. I just need to take care of that gas leak. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to do something else because that tank right there is leaking. So, and I heard you're not supposed to weld these things. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. So, alright guys, well, I got it running. Got a little gas leak. I guess this is going to be part 1. We're going to have to see where part 2 takes us. Okay, I stuck my knife in that and kind of made a much larger hole than what was there, and I suspect the whole thing is rusted out. You can see the rust. Really counting on using this thing right here for some onboard air, but I'm going to have to do something else. I don't think those tanks are going to make a good barbecue grill. So, okay, Homestead Prepper out.